Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christopher McClung, and thank you so much for being a part of our webinar today for the PD mashup presented by CTE Teach. We're going to give you a lot of awesome tools in this webinar, and hopefully you can share them with other educators in CTE. And as I'm talking, I'm rapidly letting people into this meeting. But first, I wanted to give a special thank you to the Orange County Department of Education. Originally, this was going to be a presentation that we were going to do in Orange County, but because of quarantines and everything else that's going on, we are doing this as a webinar. But I did want to make special mention that they were the ones who helped put this together and were hosting. And when you get the copy of this presentation, if you click on their logo down here, it'll take you to their website where you can download and see a lot of their awesome tools that they have for credentialing in CTE. So we'll go ahead and get started. And as I mentioned, my name is Christopher McClung, and I am a curriculum developer for the Colton Redlands P.I.R.A.T.E, and I also serve in the CTE TEACH Grant, giving this presentation today. And I want to let my colleagues go ahead and introduce themselves as well.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Quiggle. I'm the Program Support Specialist for Ed Services, and I also assist Christopher with CTE Teach.
Hi everyone, my name is Elena Hernandez. I am one of the program managers for P.I.R.A.T.E. I oversee the Ukiah-Calamasa school district, and I am not new to CTE Teach. I have passed the baton last year to Deidre Puentes, who has left us, and now it's Chris McClung. So very familiar CTE Teach. Happy to be back supporting this webinar. It's going to be a great one.
Yeah, really cool. And if you would like to follow along with us, if you go to the bit.ly that's at the bottom of your screen now, it is bit.ly/CTE PD1, and it is case sensitive. So you want to do the CTE in all caps, PD in lowercase, and then the number 1. And you'll be able to have a copy of this presentation and everything that we are giving you today. So there's 3 sections we're going to go through in this webinar. The first is we're going to talk about online resources that are available with all of our online content for CTE Teach. And then we're also going to give you an example of professional development workshop that we typically do in person. This one is about student engagement. And then thirdly, we're going to give you a short example of what one of our webinars looks like, even though you're experiencing one right now. This is what one of our typical webinars looks like that provides. And this particular one we're going to show you is some tech tools that we have for teaching. So here are our norms for the day. For this webinar, first of all, I want to let you know that this is being recorded, and it is being recorded so we can distribute this later on all of our media channels. I want to ask you to please be mindful of your microphone. If it's not muted, please go ahead and mute it so that way we don't accidentally pick up any noise in the background like your dogs crying or your children barking or anything like that. Also, if you do want to communicate with each other, please feel free to talk to each other in chat. I always love it when as the webinar is being presented, people are chiming in with their experiences as well. Kathy is in the chat and she will help monitor it. And also any questions that you have, please feel free to type them in. I want to encourage you, just use your name, maybe type in your questions. Kathy's going to gather all of those up as we're presenting this information. And then at the very end, if time allows, we'll start answering some of those questions. And if you leave her information with you, then we can definitely email you some of the questions we may not be able to get to in this window today. And lastly, in your environment, like I said, a lot of us are on camera right now with audio and whatnot. Just be mindful, you know, what's going on around you, and still letting people in, and just what people can hear. So with that being said, we're going to start with the engagement activity with a mentee. And if you've not done one of these before, what you're going to do is use either your computer in front of you or use your phone or a second device, and you're going to go to menti.com, and that's MENTI.com, and use the following 3-digit code: 40, 47, and 45. And what we want to know is, how do you typically feel when it comes to professional development? Do you feel like Captain America, I can do this all day? Do you feel like you're on the Enterprise and you need a brace for impact? Do you feel like you're in The Princess Bride and somebody has sucked an hour of your life away? Do you feel like Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets, who are sitting in the balcony saying, oh, ho, 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 that was it? Or do you feel like Tony the Tiger, who says, this is great? So we want to know really quick, how do you feel typically when it comes to professional development? And I will answer that myself. I'll give you guys all a minute to do this. See a lot of responses. Very cool. A lot of people feel like they're on the enterprise so far. Brace for impact. Love it. Still going. A lot of people say this is great. Elena, how do you typically feel?
Did you unmute me?
Yeah, you're unmuted.
I enjoy professional development when it's done really, really well. So I think I'm a cross between I can do this all day and this was great. For sure.
Very cool. Yeah, and I agree. We have sat in on some to where you're falling asleep, like, oh goodness.
Yeah.
We typically tend to enjoy them.
So hopefully no one's fallen asleep today.
Hopefully not. We do have one. We've sucked an hour of your life away. Hopefully we don't do that. Or if anything, we're at least sucking an hour and a half of your life away. Not just one.
I don't think we're doing that today. Good stuff coming out of this webinar.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, so I'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and continue on. You can still add to that Menti if you've not done so before. And so pass off the baton.
All right, so hi again, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Many of you are probably already familiar with what career technical education is. And just as a refresher, or if anybody else is new that's joining us, career technical education prides itself on obviously hands-on learning, which is the true part of career tech ed. We also do a lot of work with soft skills and preparing students for entry-level work and how to go out and get and keep that job. We also work very closely with colleges in helping our students become articulated and earning those college credits that they so deserve by the time they leave our high schools. And then last but not least, I think the largest component which goes on with hands-on learning are the community classroom opportunities that we provide to our CTE students in the form of internships. And those seem to be the greatest testament as to the knowledge that they have learned in the classroom, and then they go out and apply that and then hopefully get some sort of entry-level job. So just wanted to remind everybody of the 4 components, so to speak, of CTE. CTE Teach, if you're not familiar, is a one-stop shop for new and seasoned CTE teachers. It is a place to go to learn, grow, and mentor. And many of you are probably already familiar with our site. We've added so many more things last year. And then this particular year, we're going to talk more about that. But if you haven't visited the site, we're going to show you how to get in there too today. But we spent a lot of time mentoring brand new teachers, but this is also for your seasoned veteran teachers who may be stuck in their silos and who need some refreshers. So we're going to point some of those activities and resources out for you today. So how does CTE Teach do what they do? We are a small but mighty group, but through a unique partnership with the California Department of Education, they and Colton Redlands UKIPA ROP, CTE Teach is comprised of 3 main components. We offer first and foremost the early online orientation course, which is for teachers who are just beginning their credential. And so if you go to cteonline.org, you will find the early orientation there. And that allows teachers to be in the classroom within that first 30 days of them being brand new. So that's a great thing. We also offer professional development. We'll go over that more within this webinar. And then CTE Teach came out of, it's modeled after P.I.R.A.T.'s induction program. We here at P.I.R.A.T.E have a 2-year induction program, which all of our brand new teachers have to go through. And I think what's unique about that is that regardless if you show up to us with 0 years of teaching experience or you come to us with 10 or 12 years, we put you through the induction program anyways. We assign you a mentor, and we really work closely with you in providing those professional development opportunities through trainings and workshops. So good stuff all around. Some of the delivery systems that CTE Teach has are obviously the webinars like you're on today, and I know that many of you have watched a lot of our webinars. We also provide workshops, and those we do on-site and obviously online. We will do on-site training. We have been fortunate enough to be asked by many districts to go to their particular districts and do one-on-one trainings and with just their teachers. So anything from Play Like a Pirate, Teach Like a Pirate, anything that has to do with student engagement strategies. So sometimes if you just pick up the phone or shoot an email and we can work it within our schedule, then we're always willing to go down and help out districts. So if you see something you like and hear today, let us know and we'll see how we can help you. And then also we've increased our media outreach, which is really cool. We have a YouTube presence, we have Twitter, and now we have podcasts. So everything that we do is recorded, whether that's just the webinars or just the podcast where we're talking, but everything is now recorded and sent out to our district partners, as well as available on the CTE Teach page, which we'll show you today. So good stuff. And then we have online resources, and you guys can find that at cteonline.org, and they're free. And what I mean by free is free 99 is probably my favorite word. So we are extremely transparent. Everything that we put up is available to everybody. The content's been vetted. We check our resources, we check our links, we check everything. And then you guys can use it for whatever reason you want. We have some things that are just ready to go if you just want to take them and use them as part of your professional development opportunities, or you like something but you want to change it, then you guys are free to do. So everything is up available. You don't have to join anything. You don't have to give us any money or anything like that. It's up there free. So check those out if you haven't. The way to do that is to go to cteonline.org and look for the apple. And once you find the apple, click on the apple, and then that'll take you to the CTE Teach page. And if Chris switches the screen here, I think, you'll see that all of our stuff is there. And what's nice is if you are looking for particular resources, if you join our mentor page, which is up in the right-hand corner, this one says leave group because Chris has already joined it. But if you click join group, you will have access to all of our stuff. So anybody can get on cteonline.org, but in order to access CTE Teach, you will have to join the group. And we update our trainings and our resources on a regular basis. And we're making sure that you guys are getting good stuff that you could pass on to your teachers. So check it out if you haven't. So with early orientation, early online orientation, it includes 6 modules, and a few of those modules consist of student engagement and student engagement strategies, classroom environment, lesson planning and how to construct that good lesson, and then assessing your students and really what does a good lesson or a good assessment look like. It also prepares new CTE teachers for the classroom. Like I said, that credential that they're just starting to get, they need to do this training within their first 30 days. And then it is a requirement of the designated subject's credential, and it allows them to be in the classroom before they actually get their recommendation for their preliminary credential. So here's an example of a module, and throughout the modules, videos are embedded. And this is one example of a video on student motivation and finding success. So we wanted to give you an opportunity, it's about a minute long.
Yeah.
I think one of the great things about CTE classes is students who aren't always successful in an academic class can be really successful in a CTE class. So for example, some of my students maybe aren't doing well in their English class or their math class, but when they get up to their internship and they're working with elementary school kids, those kids think they are just the bomb. They are awesome. And so they really feel successful in what they're learning, and they're motivated to come back and learn more in my class. I've also worked with teachers who have students. One of the welding teachers that I work with has a student that is so good at what he does in his welding class that it really motivates him to come to school. And we try to celebrate those successes. We nominate those students for scholarships. I contact their academic teachers and let them know what a good job they're doing in my CTE class. So it becomes a really good way to motivate students.
So that's just one example of some of the videos that you'll find on the CTEonline.org page. Lots of good stuff in here. Great little tutorials for, especially for those beginning teachers. And then also what I have found is that it's really nice to go back and have a refresher for any teacher that is struggling, especially our veteran teachers.
Mm-hmm. And so now what I'm going to do is, this is an example of some of the webinars that we give. A lot of times, you know, we, especially now, we all can't join together in the same room. So we offer webinars periodically throughout the school year. And this was one that we did this previous year called Tech Tools for Teaching. And this one was broken up into 3 separate categories. We shared some tools that you could use with students, some tools that teachers can use for themselves, and then we also shared some Google tools that not many people know about. So I'm going to give you a snippet of each of these. And so for the first one, the tech tools that we shared with students, this one is becoming far more popular because of all the distance teaching that we are doing, and it's called Mentimeter. And if you've not done one before, you may have been involved in being in a Mentimeter where you've given the answers, but I'm going to show you really quick, how do you set up a Mentimeter? And it's really quick and easy to do. You would normally log in if you have a Gmail. Typically, you can just use your Gmail to log in, and you would click on presentations. And as you can see here, these are different ones that I have, but this is the one we just did, but I'm going to do a brand new one. So I click on new presentation. I'll call it PD mashup again. So now it's going to create it for me. And there's a whole bunch of different types of questions that I can ask. I can have people answer with a paragraph. I can have them do multiple choice. I can have them do a Q&A or slide on the scale or create a word cloud. Let's say if I wanted to create a word cloud that says, you know, best ice cream. And people can then answer up to 3 times. I can let people answer multiple times. And then I can even customize like the theme. I choose more of like this green theme here. And then that's it. And then once I create my Menti, I just click on present. And we won't do this now for the sake of time, but yeah, then all your audience has to do is just go to menti.com, type in the code, and people can start answering this from their device right away. They won't have to sign into anything, and it's just a really cool tool to engage with students across. And we've tried it, you know, like we just did just now. You know, we've tried it up and down the state, and everybody's able to log in. Tool. These are the other student tools, and they're all blacked out because I'm going to tell you, or I'm going to share with you how you can get to them in just a minute here. And as I mentioned before, these are some of the cool tools, tech tools that Google has that not a lot of people know about. And so this first one I'm going to share with you is called Google Trends. And on this entire presentation, if you just click the icon, it'll take you to that website. And what Google Trends does is it tracks the searches that are going on that people type in. So for an example, let's say you are a fashion marketing instructor and you want your students to see how much Nike has been searched over the last year. So I'll type in Nike. And Google Trends tells me that as of April 28th, and it gives you like a 1 to 100 scale. As we can see right before Christmas, between November 24th and 30th, there was a huge spike in it. And then it kind of went down. It tells me which states have searched for it the most. New York is the highest. Some other related topics of what they've searched with. But let's say we want to compare it. You know, Nike is a popular shoe, but let's see if Adidas is also popular. Unfortunately not. Here's Adidas here. There's that same little spike there. The trends kind of follow each other, but you can see now Oregon is the highest searches of the both of them. And it gives you some, you know, the breakdown of just Nike. Here's the breakdown of just Adidas. And you can just keep adding on and on and on. I don't know, what's another shoe? Elena, what do you wear?
I don't know, Skechers, Puma.
Pro Wings? They still make those?
I don't know.
Let's do Skechers. All right, so Skechers, we're gonna see the same thing. Poor Skechers, breaks your heart. So here's Skechers there, just a little blip in comparison to the others. But again, this is an awesome tool if you want to have your students do some research on what people are searching for. And these are the other Google tools. And again, in a minute, I'll show you how they can, how you can get to all this information. Tech tools for teachers. One of my favorite sites is teacher.org. If you go to it, they have a ton of information about how you can get into the teaching profession. But what my favorite part is if you go to resources and click on teacher discounts, they have a huge list of places that provide discounts for educators. But you can also search by specific categories. We'll go down here to magazine. There's teacher discounts on National Geographic. And how do I know that? Because I've used it. We get National Geographic in my house because I wanted my kids to remember what paper was. So they get this, and then we also have the kids version of it, which has just a ton of like crossword puzzles and just interesting things that my little kids love to look at. And so, but they have tons of other things. If you go down, there's mobile stuff. Best Buy has some discounts, and they even have amusement parks down here. Here, there's Universal Studios. This during spring break or winter, whatever it was, we actually used the Legoland one. If you're a teacher, you get in completely free to Legoland. All of your guests are just $52. And it's just a really cool website to just give you and tell you just what's available for discounts for teachers. Another fantastic website that I love for teachers is Common Sense for Educators. You've probably heard of this one more recently because we're doing a lot of distance teaching. But this one, what I really appreciate and enjoy about it is they do reviews on all of this technology. There's so many tools that are available right now. So many apps and stuff that are being created and being used, and everybody's saying like, well, you should try this and get this one and that one. And it can get overwhelming. And what I appreciate about what they do is they take the time to go through and review every single app that they come across. So let's say I want to look for something that's for health and wellness, and I want to look something that's geared towards 12th graders. It's going to bring up a list. There's 3,000 of them, so it's taking its time. And we'll pick one. Let's see, Draw It to Know It. And this one, it tells you, it'll give you screenshots. This is what the app is. This is their review of it. There hasn't been any teachers that have reviewed it yet. They do have a privacy warning about it, but they also tell you like, these are the pros and cons of it. This is how you can teach with it. This is what it is. Here's how you can use it for learning. And so they really take their time to go through all of this technology and all these apps and softwares that we come across. And it's just a good way to find technology or to find apps that you can use. So again, these are the rest of them. And so now you're saying, gee, Chris, how do I get to all that fantastic information? What you can do is if you get this slide, if you just click here, it'll open up the full slide deck that has all that information. But if you also click here, it'll take you to our YouTube channel, which is when we originally presented it. And I go in a little more in depth on how to use each and every one of those. So that was an example of our webinar, of our Tech Tools for Teaching webinar. And if that wasn't enough tools, then we also included this page. This is from a webinar that I presented with San Bernardino County Schools. And this is a list we created that has just a lot of great information. If you want information from tech experts, Matt Miller wrote a book. He's got it free here on this PDF. If you want to know something about more interactive tools, we have Formative is here. Just go ahead and click on that, and it'll take you right to their page, and you can learn about that. And so again, this is just an awesome page just to help you guys be able to connect with your students and your community as we're doing distance teaching. Off to you.
So some of the professional development opportunities that CTE Teach offers is obviously in-person and recorded workshops, which you are getting a taste of today. We have Google Slides and PowerPoint presentations. Chris has alluded to some of those. We're going to show you where to find all of those in just a few minutes. We also have online and professional development modules. So if you are looking for a refresher, like I mentioned before, or you need to set some of your teachers up on some remedial activities because they need some sort of review, then we do have professional development modules that are available. They're all relevant for new and seasoned CTE teachers. They can be utilized as part of your teacher induction program. So kind of like you just grab and drop, you can use any of our stuff and build your own workshops, or choose ours and then integrate that into your own teacher induction program. And like I said before, it's all free, free 99.
Teach is free.
Yay. All right, so what we want to do today is give you a small glimpse into one of our student engagement workshops, or one of our in-person workshops that Chris and I have delivered across the state. Last year we did it, or yeah, last year, and we're going to take you through a little bit of that, and then give you some more free stuff to look at. So a couple years ago, I introduced Teach Like a Pirate, and I did it just in-house with my own teachers. We did it as part of our back to school in-service. And so it was just a really, really small group. It was really, really in-house, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And we thought, you know what, we're gonna take this to CTE Teach and we're gonna roll it out across the state. And so Teach Like a Pirate was born. And so now then we kind of went into Play Like a Pirate, because people wanted more of Teach Like a Pirate. So we went into Play Like a Pirate, and that was delivered last year, I believe, again for new teacher in service and then across the state. So we're happy that you're here today, because we're going to give you a small glimpse of what we did across the state. And then hopefully you'll call us and say, can you come and do Pirate? Or you'll do your own Pirate for your district as well. So with that, here we go. A Pirate, or Teach Like a Pirate, Play Like a Pirate, is based on the book Teach Like a Pirate by Dave Burgess. Many of you have probably heard about Dave Burgess and his book. If you do not have the Teach Like a Pirate book, please order it quickly. I was going to say run out and get it, but you can't really go and get it anywhere. So order it, and it's a small read, it's a quick read, but it is full of so many resources for engagement strategies. And we're going to go over a few of them today. So Teach Like a Pirate, Play Like a Pirate is based on the word pirate. And it starts with P for passion. Are you passionate about the content that you're delivering in front of your students? You have to be, or they won't buy it. I is for immersion. You as the teacher, are you truly immersed in the lesson? Do you like the lesson? Because if you don't like the lesson, I guarantee your students are not going to like the lesson. R is for rapport. Are you building a rapport and those connections with your students? That is really, really important. A is for ask and analyze. Are you asking the right questions, and are you analyzing the answers, and are you open to feedback? That is one of the most important things about being a continuous learner and a teacher, is that we get an opportunity to reflect and to do better. And so are you reflecting? T is for transformation. You have to transform your expectations for what is possible in the classroom. And this little book gives you so many ways to transform your classroom. And then E is for enthusiasm. It is the best tool that we as teachers have available to us, and we should be using it freely. So if we're not enthusiastic, our students are definitely not going to be.
Yep.
So that is Pirate. And in the book, Dave Burgess mentions he calls his engagement strategies hooks. So we're going to talk about a few hooks today. And the first one is the props hook. And I want you guys to think about, what physical item could you bring to class? What physical item could you show as part of your distance learning that is relevant to the content that you're trying to deliver? what image could you show? If you are talking about a book, can you bring the book and pass it up and down the rows? If I had the P.I.R.A.T.E book, I'd be showing it to you, but it's in my office as we speak. So what are the things that you can bring to your classroom that students could actually touch and feel? So today, being at home, because it doesn't have to be expensive, is I grabbed the Lucky Charms box, my husband's favorite cereal. But I thought that this was really relevant for a few reasons. Yes, the kids are going to want to eat it, and that's completely up to you. But for my medical teachers out there, I think that this would be great if you wanted to ask them to look at the calorie information, the nutrition information. This would also be great for my physical or my my personal fitness trainers out there. The students can evaluate the information there. It is also great for the merchandising, the graphic design teachers. They can look at the logo, they can look at the color, they can look at this little guy here and why he is so popular. So there's so many things to do with the Lucky Charms box, but I think what's fun is that this could be passed up and down the rows, or you could get the little boxes and pass one out to everybody, or you could break open the cereal and everybody gets a little bag, but it adds to your content and it really makes it relevant, because most of us have some sort of cereal in the house. It might not be exactly Lucky Charms, or maybe you compare Lucky Charms with the off-brand of Lucky Charms, whatever that's called. So I thought this was pretty cool to grab today because I was looking for something really inexpensive and things that you guys could already have at home that you could use. I think now Chris is going to show you some virtual.
Yes. So I'm gonna switch screens real quick, but while I'm doing that, please do me a favor. If you could go into chat, just type what are some of the favorite props that you've used in your class. Because I'm sure some of you have some great ideas while I switch screens here. Some of your favorite props you've used in class. Go ahead and type that into the chat. Oh, that's cool. Anatomy models. And I'm even listening to pirate music as we're doing this. That's just terrible. So, so now I'm going to show you a digital way you can share props. And so right now I'm sharing my phone with you in Zoom, and I have a folder here that's set up that says AR and VR, virtual reality, augmented reality. And one of my favorite apps is in the top left there, and it's called JigSpace, and it's completely free. And the way you can get to it is just download it in one of your in one of the phone stores. So like if you have an Apple, just go to the Apple store and you can download it. Again, it's free. It's called JigSpace. But I want to give you an example of what JigSpace does, and this is a great way to do digital props. And it's loading up here. And what JigSpace is it basically tells you how things are either manufactured, and still loading up, how things are manufactured. And as you can see, they have a whole bunch of stuff. They even did one on the coronavirus. It's brand new. I think it just came out this week, and they kind of talks about the virus itself. See if I can I'm going to show you just a snippet of it. Everybody say hi to R2. And so now it's downloading, and you guys can all see my calendar, which sadly is way more empty than I
was going to say, you need to work harder, Christopher McClung.
need to stop playing with my toys less and my National Geographics. So it's still downloading. Oh, almost there.
Chris, we've got something in the chat. Could you please share JigSpace into the email?
Yes, absolutely will. There we go. Okay, so now that it's loaded up, all I do is I tap somewhere in the spot it indicates, and it basically just talks about the virus for a little bit. As you can see, I'm using my phone. It tells you like where it originated from. You can go into like how the virus is actually developed. It gives you, and as I'm showing these things, I can use my phone to 3D walk around all of this, get closer to it. It gives some animations about how to treat yourself. As you can see, they have like an animated sync there about washing your hands. And so that's one of them. And let's say you are a manufacturing teacher. Let's do auto. Let's say you are an auto teacher. Where'd my auto one go? There's one about a manual drive shaft. Oh, there it is right in front of me. So a manual car transmission, let's say you want to teach this to your students. Again, it's going to download really quick here. And then another thing that this app offers is you can look at it as a group. So I'll show you that in a sec. So here's the manual transmission. It kind of tells me the workings of it. Again, I can use my phone to kind of get in closer there. If I were standing up and moving around this room, I could walk three-dimensionally around the entire thing. Tells me how it works there. There's the shifter up there. And it just really goes into depth about how this thing operates. You don't have to actually bring the manual transmission into your house. You can use this tool. And if you click this, I don't know if you guys see that. If you click this plus sign up here, that is where you can use this to present. And I think right now it's only up to 7, but 7 other people could join in and you could guide them through this. So it's just, again, it's called JigSpace. I do like you, JigSpace. I give you 5 stars. And so it's just a really, really neat way to use some of these tools virtually. And share that. Let me switch back screens over. And so that's an example of the props hook. That's just one of hundreds of hooks that are in the book. And another one that is in there called the kinesthetic hook. And what this hook is it gets you to think about what are some ways you can have movement into your lessons. Instead of your students coming in, sitting down or listening to you lecture, or even being in your class, what are some ways you can incorporate movement? Can you take them even outside of your classroom, do a walk around the school? If you are a graphic design teacher, can you walk around the campus and have them point out just ways that graphic design is being utilized within your campus there? Can you guarantee that your students are getting up and they're moving within the lesson? Are they we are all career technical education educators for the most part. A lot of what we do is hands-on, and is there things that they're getting up? Can they act out something? Can you tell them to act out maybe how a heart pumps, or have them, make an invisible map of your room about where the aortic valve is, and I hope I'm saying it right, but have them stand in different spots throughout the room and just, again, get them moving. And so with this, I kind of wanted to try something, and I'm unmuting every person right now.
The refills, it says call 800
students from
and what I want you to do,
308.
maybe I'll mute really quick and then I'll give directions, then I'll mute. What I want you to do is I want you to tell us how long you've been teaching. So I'm going to say, if you've taught 0 to 5 years, I want you to cheer. And we need to cheer loud enough so that the other people who are in your home end up going like, to see what's going on. Nice, loud, proud. So if you taught 0 to 5 years, here, let me hear you cheer.
Yay!
Awesome. If you've taught 5 to 10 years, let me hear you cheer. 10 to 20 years, let me hear you cheer. 20 to 30 years.
Yay!
30 to 40 years.
Woo!
Fantastic. And everybody who's taught 50 or more years, let me hear you cheer.
I've not been here before, so I don't know if I'm in the right spot.
Probably retired.
And then, Elena, you'll have to unmute yourself. I just muted everybody. So that is an example of the kinesthetic hook. And the way you can get to our full presentation of this, again, is just go ahead and click here. It'll give you the entire presentation slides for that. Or if you want to see the video from when we presented it, you just click on the video and it'll show you us actually teaching this in-person workshop and all of the tools that we've given. And so as Elena said at the beginning, this CTE Teach is based on KINESTHETIC's teacher induction program. It first originated in that. We were mentoring our brand new teachers, and then we decided to, the state decided to take that and we help them spread that across all of the state of California. So the teacher induction program is a 2-year program for us. We give them quarterly workshops. We talk to them about just their brand new teaching endeavor, what they're doing, how they're teaching. And so I wanted to give you some of the information that we have. As far as that, we do our teacher induction program. Our teachers come together once a month. We put on a 2-hour workshop for them. We really give them just our personal one-on-one attention about how they're doing in the classroom their first 2 years. All of the workshops that we've presented are available on CTE Online. So if you were to just click here, it'll take you to CTE Online. It gives you all the workshops that we've done. And we just update it continually. You just click on, let's say, the one we did in March. Just go ahead and click on it, and it'll take you to our slide deck that we presented for our teachers in March. And if you want to see how we did it, taught them in person, if you click here, it'll take you to our YouTube playlist of all of our teacher induction programs. And so let's say the UDL and differentiation one we did in January, you can click here, it'll take you to that. But if you also go down to the description, everything here is timestamped. So if you didn't want to watch the full hour-long presentation that we gave or the hour-long training that we did, and you want to just learn about, let's say, Speechify, you just click there. And it'll take you directly to that part of the video where we're showing how to use it. And all of the resources that we present in these trainings are here for you to use. Just click on the link, it'll take you right to it. And it's just, there's just tons and tons of information available for CTE educators just within this page here. Back to you, Elena.
What I wanted to say before I jump into this slide is for this particular year for CRI-ROP, Chris's theme was roller coasters. And so each workshop that he put on for our teachers had a roller coaster theme. So Taming the Twister, what else, Chris, that I can?
Climbing the Matterhorn.
Yeah, so really cool if you guys can think of themes for the whole year. And it is so, so cool what he was able to do with Deidre Puentes for the roller coaster theme. So cool. And we've given you access to all of those presentations on CTE Online. So good stuff. So not to leave our mentors out and our administrators, those of you who are tasked with training teachers to be mentors or a teacher buddy or a lead teacher, there are things that we have developed that are specifically for mentors. And so we offer a mentoring overview. We offer modules, and these modules include a mentoring overview. They include the California standards for the teaching profession, new teacher orientation, how should you orientate your teachers, all of our CTE Teach workshops. We also will give you examples of classroom walkthroughs, which we're going to see right now, how to do an observation, an informal observation, and so much more. So we've worked hard in developing these resources and making them relevant to your needs. So check them out. With that, this is another video example of a classroom walkthrough. This is great stuff if you're training mentor teachers and if they've never done a classroom walkthrough. I think this is also good for baby administrators and just administrators in general who are doing those walkthroughs on a regular basis. So we'd like to show you an example of one.
As a teacher mentor, one of my job responsibilities is to observe the teachers. One of the best ways to do this is to do a quick walkthrough. When I do a walkthrough, I get to see the teachers in action. I get to see how they teach and the methods they use. And from that quick walkthrough, I can easily assess where the teachers need help or where they're doing well. I try to make the walkthroughs informal, non-intrusive, just to get a quick snapshot of what's going on in the classroom. When I do the walkthrough, I carry a clipboard, and on the back side of the clipboard is written walkthrough. So when I walk in, the teachers immediately know that I'm just there to do a walkthrough and observation and not to interrupt their lesson. When I walk into the classroom, one of the first things I try to do is determine what the lesson objective is. And then I try to determine the type of strategy the teacher is using to convey the lesson to meet the students' objectives. Sometimes I will move around the room and observe the students directly to get a better feel for what is going on with the lesson and in the classroom. The process is not used to evaluate the teachers. It's not a formal evaluation. As a teacher mentor, that's not my responsibility. That would be the responsibility of their supervisor. My responsibility is to help the teacher improve their teaching.
Fantastic.
So that example rings near and dear to everybody's heart at CRI-ROP. This is a video example that was done by our former colleague, Julie Barta, who many of you know was with CRI-ROP and CTE TEACH. I worked with her closely at CTE TEACH, and some of you might know that she lost her battle with breast cancer last July. So we profoundly miss her, and this definitely tugs at my heartstrings today. So we wanted to share that with you. But another good example of things that you can use for training purposes.
Yep.
With that, we are happy to announce that CTE TEACH is coming back for its 12th year for next year. And to be eligible, or the application is open to any district or secondary school with CTE teachers. Doesn't matter how many CTE teachers you are supporting, but we do look for brand new districts who have never been part of the grant before, and then we also try to determine need. So is your district in need of support of CTE TEACH other than what is on, what is free to you, what is online, what are the resources available? We will have details and the application coming probably beginning of July or mid-July, and those districts selected to be part of the grant will receive funds towards mentoring your CTE teachers. So putting on workshops and developing those resources to really go out there and work one-on-one with them. That is what our grant pays for. We are happy. I believe we had, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, did we have 15 or 16 districts this current year? Yeah. So that is usually our goal, is about 15 or 16 districts across the state. We try to find, we go as, all the way up to the north, down to the south, and we try to find a mix in between and really represent those districts who need our help. So if you think that you are one of those districts and you would like to apply for the first time, or you like to reapply to be part of our grant, please watch for that application. Don't worry about your email, because if you are on this webinar today, we have your email. And what we do is we will just go through all of our registrations for the past year of anybody who registered for our webinars, and then we will just send out a blanket email to everybody with the application. And there will obviously be a deadline. I believe that's going to be in August to get that in, and then we will start naming our districts for the new school year. But if you guys have any particular questions about the grant for next year, you can type them into the chat, or you can reach out to Chris or myself, and we'll be more than happy to answer those for you.
So one of the things that we added this year, which I'm super excited about, is we started really spreading our media outreach. And so if you've not followed us already, you can follow us on Twitter at CTE_Teach. We send a lot of information about our trainings, our podcasts when we post them, and we like to interact just to really spread the word about what fantastic CTE things are going on. Our YouTube channel, you guys saw a snippet of it earlier. I just showed you the teacher induction program, but again, there's so much on there. We did a podcast this month about how you can use Google Classroom. We went really in depth on, like, this is what you click on, here's how you create it. And then we did another one about how you can use Google Classroom to collaborate with each other, even though you might be in different schools, different districts. just some great information. And then also we are on several podcasting stations, including Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcasts. And what I'm really excited about is we want to hear from you. What cool things are you guys doing in CTE across the state? We'd love to be able to connect with you, really just discuss what amazing things are you doing in your own district. And the way you can do that is if you go to the form, to the bit.ly there, I just covered it with Google Slides. You go to bit.ly/CTE podcast, and then there's a real quick, like 2-second Google form to fill out, or you can get to it by scanning that QR code and just share with us, like, what are some things that your district is doing in CTE? And we would love to be able to share those, because we think CTE is fantastic, doing amazing things across the state, and we want to continue to keep that at the forefront of people's minds and education. And then also, we're getting ready to wrap up here, and we'll get to our questions, is we do have more webinars coming up. Tomorrow, we are doing a webinar on distance teaching and social emotional learning, and we're privileged to have a Google certified, she's a level 2 Google certified educator. She's also one of our mental health instructors and is P.I.R.A.T.E certified. And she's going to discuss about how you can connect with your students through distance teaching, through distance learning, and how you can even use CTE in all of this distance education that's going on. So again, that's tomorrow from 2 to 3. If you've not registered yet, it's not too late. Just click on the link at the bottom. And then this specific webinar, we are doing again in May. If you have somebody who has not been or wants to see it or wasn't able to maybe come today, or you think this is great information that you want to share with other educators that you're with, let them know that we're going to do this again on May 8th. And so it's not too late to get this information. And that one, the registration link is for that one at the bottom. So with that being said, we'll give you guys about 30 to 40 seconds. If you have any questions you want to add in or any comments you want to add, you can put them in the chat right now. Kathy is monitoring that, and then she'll let us know any questions that you guys have. And Elena asked me earlier who that picture is. It is from a Saturday Night Live skit that is actually Tom Hanks, the best actor in the whole entire world.
Oh, Lord. Let's not have this debate now, Chris.
I know he wasn't in Legally Blonde, but still, he's the best actor in the whole entire world. And then in his skit, he often says, "Any questions?" Yeah.
Are there any questions, Kathy?
Not so far. No.
Anything we can answer you guys?
Okay, I have one. Bridget is asking, have you launched the new version of CTE Online yet?
That's a really good question, Bridget. So, I don't know, Chris, if you want to chime in as well, but no, the answer is no. The state is not, has not finished the new site, and we're very far behind. That was supposed to be rolled out last summer. And I think it's going to probably take them even longer now, considering the time that we are in. But yes, I think they just wanted to wait until it was ready and great and perfect. And so we're not there, but we are working closely with them to make sure that the content for CTE Teach is easily accessible. And so more to come on that. I honestly, unless Chris, you've heard something different, I don't have a date as to when that's going to roll out.
Yeah, we don't have a date. I've seen part of the beta form of it. Like they've showed off, like this is a little bit of what it's going to look like, but they've not fully launched it with an exact date yet.
Right.
Yep. Cool. Anything else, Kathy?
No, just a comment from Kelly. She said this webinar was great. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that.
So with that, do you have the next slide?
So this is our contact info. Elaine, I mentioned several times if you wanted to reach out and contact us, that is how you do it. We are not in the office right now, so those office phones, you can call them and they will roll over to us and we'll be able to get our voicemails and stuff. But you can also contact us through email, and then we left our handles at the bottom. We're both on Instagram and Twitter. I'm probably more on Instagram than you are, I would think, but definitely we can get a hold of both of us on Twitter as well. And like I said, if you want a copy, I'm going to send this presentation out to everybody who's registered. If you want to get to it right away, you can go to the bit.ly at the bottom. It's bit.ly/CTE PD1, and you can get to this slide deck right away. So anything to add?
No, I just want to say a quick shout out to all of the districts who I recognize on here. I miss you guys. Hello, Krista. Hello, Fresno and Janet and everybody else that I am not naming, but miss CTE Teach. I'm still around, and you guys are in for a very a great new year with CTE Teach, and lots of good stuff coming. So Christopher is definitely the one that you want to be working with, and he has so many cool ideas. So, and I'll be pushing him from behind. So good stuff.
Buckle up.
So Chris, you are going to provide the link so they can watch this again, right?
Yes. So when this recording is done, I will upload it to our YouTube channel. I can send that out along with the link to this specific presentation. I think we're good. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Appreciate you guys so much being a part of this. And again, any questions, feel free to contact us. And if you've not registered for tomorrow's webinar, you can still do that. The link is in this presentation, but you can also get to it on our Twitter. If you just go to CTE_teach, you can actually register right there by clicking on the link in our Twitter. So other than that, we hope to see most of you tomorrow. And thank you for watching. Bye.
Thank you, you guys. Bye.